all, Miss Fujiwara here. I just wanted to send you all a message to let you know that I'm thinking about you. I love and miss you all so much and hope you're finding lots of fun things to do at home right now. I know we're not going to be in the same classroom for a while, but I want you all to remember that we still have each other. Keep working hard and doing your best every day. Stay in touch, and we're going to get through this together. After spring break, I'll be sending out more information about how you can continue our learning at home. But in the meantime, just keep playing and spending time doing things that you love because life is learning. But before I send you off to spring break, I wanted to share another story about an inspiring and amazing trailblazer in women's history, and hope I can continue to share great books with you all as you're hopefully reading lots and lots at home. This book is a book about Gill Fujikawa, and it's written by Gill McClare and illustrated by Julie Morstad. It's called It Began with a Page. Okay. It began with a page, how Gill Fujikawa drew the way. It began with a page, bright and beckoning. It began with a mother writing a poem, and a father working a field, and a little girl named Gill drawing a picture. It was 1913, and Gill was 5 years old. That morning, her mama said, "Ohio, sleepyhead, it's going to be a busy day." And it was. Right until nightfall, Mama's friends had come and they were full of talk. "We sailed to America with our best kimono to see what we could be. Such disappointment. We need the vote. We need rights." Gill held her rice bowl and listened with curious ears. Did Gill know what she wanted to be? Not yet. Remember, friends, what time period is this from? It's in 1913. So think about what you might know about this time period. What she did know was that she liked to draw. She loved the feel of the pencil in her hand, the dance and glide of a line, how a new color could change everything. A bright splash of yellow, a sleepy stroke of blue. Every day she started with an empty white page and filled it with pictures. At home, surrounded by drawing tools and books, anything was possible. But at school, Gill didn't feel that way. At school, no one said, "That girl sure can draw." No one noticed her colored pencils or box of paints. No one even noticed when she moved away. Gill's new home was a fishing village near San Pedro, California, a haven for Japanese Americans. A new life. Roaming with her friends, Gill felt weightless and free. A fairy right away at her high school, Gill sometimes still felt invisible among her mostly white classmates. But her drawings caught the attention of two teachers. Who was this girl whose eyes missed nothing, who could sketch rivers and boats and birds like a dream? Miss Cole and Miss Blum saw the energy in each line of her drawings. Gill was too poor to go to art school, but Miss Cole found money to pay her away. Gill was nervous to leave her home for the buzz and bustle of downtown Los Angeles. Not many girls, and even fewer Asian American girls, went to college in 1926. But Gill was determined. She sketched statues, flowers, and faces. Her sketchbooks filled up, one after another. determine a common theme that we're seeing with many of the women we're learning this month. Hungry to know more, Gill set off for Japan, the land of her ancestors, to study traditional Japanese brush painting. But the teachers were full of rules. Instead, she traveled around the country doing her own learning. Wood blocks, carving tools, inks made of soot. She lost herself in the prints of Hiroshige Utamaro and Hokusai. And floated in a beautiful sea of kimono. Travel fed her dreams, but back in America, it was time to earn money. For the next few years, Gill worked long days, painting murals and drawing for magazines. In 1941, she was offered a temporary job designing books at Walt Disney Studio, New York, a city filled with art and artists. It was hard for Gill to leave her family, especially her mother. Little did she know, things were about to get harder still. And what do you think is going to happen? It's the year 1941. In early 1942, terrible things were happening. Bombs and gunfire rocked the world. America was at war with Japan. Gill was shocked to discover that anyone who looked Japanese or had a Japanese name was now suspected of being the enemy. Japanese Americans living on the West Coast were ordered to leave their homes, their schools, their pets, their everything. The poor kid. Gill, along with others living on the East Coast, was told to stay where she was. On the West Coast, families preparing to leave tried to sell their larger belongings, like cars and furniture, to junk dealers. But they were offered only pennies. "I won't sell," said Gill's mother. Instead, she set everything ablaze. Gill's family was sent to a prison camp far, far away from their home. Gill's heart was broken. For the next 3 years, the world shrank, became tiny and terrible. Now, when she gazed at a white page, no pictures would come. Gill mailed her family letters and sent gifts for her new nephew, born in the camp, but her heart would not mend. Eventually, Gill began to draw again. She drew to keep her worries still and to save money her family would need. When angry strangers saw her as the enemy, drawing comforted her. When the world felt gray, color lifted her. She wondered, could art comfort and lift others too? What do you think? Can it? When the war ended, the Fujikawas were released. With no house or savings to call their own, they had to start again. For Gill, the next 15 years passed swiftly. There were stamps to create, store windows to decorate, a children's book of poetry to illustrate. There were 2 poodles who needed loving. Now, when Gill walked around the city collecting ideas for her pictures, she began to notice little changes around her. What little changes is she noticing, friends? What time period are we entering? Still, there was so much that hadn't changed. At the library and bookshop, it was the same old stories. Mothers in aprons and fathers with pipes in a world of only white children. Gill knew a book could hold more and do more. A book, she told her poodles, can be anything that anyone imagines it to be. Gill knew what she wanted to do. Every day she started with an empty page and filled it with pictures and words. When her book was done, she gave it to a publisher. And what did they see? Babies! Chubby-cheeked, squat-legged, bouncy-bottomed babies. Naughty, nice, oh-so-busy, toddle-crawling babies. But the publisher said no. No to mixing white babies and black babies. It was not done in early 1960s America, a country with laws that separated people by skin color. But Gill would not budge. She closed her eyes and remembered all the times she had felt unseen and unwelcome. She looked the publisher in the eye and said, "It shouldn't be that way. Not out there in the streets, not here on this page. We need to break the rules." Then she waited for them to rethink their decision. The babies waited too, and waited. But babies cannot wait. Finally, the publisher said yes, and the book did well, very well. Babies loved it. So Gill kept going, welcoming kids in from the edges, from the corners, from the shadows. Gill let each child find a place. Girls and boys, freed from pink or blue, sharing jokes, joys, mishaps, and bruises. All sprawling out across the bright page, ready for a bigger, better world. Here's a timeline of Gill's life. So she was born in 1908 in Berkeley, California. And in 1998, here it says, Gill Fujikawa dies in New York City 3 weeks after celebrating her 90th birthday. And here's also a note from the author and illustrator. It began with a question: who was Gill Fujikawa? We both loved Gill's wonderful books, but knew so little about their creator. We were full of questions, so we set out to find out more and to correct some of the muddled information circulating on the internet. Our search eventually led us to Gill's family and her original papers in California. It's no exaggeration to say this book would not exist without the warmth and welcome of the Fujikawas, particularly Denson, Danny, Melissa, and Bonita, who shared family stories, photos, and archival materials. Who was Gill? She was an artist, a trailblazer, a rule breaker, an auntie and a dog lover. There she is, a great bookmaker. All right, friends. Thank you for listening. I hope to share more books with you soon, and I hope you all have an amazing spring break. Okay, bye. Talk to you soon.